Right. Morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. It's going to be on ending reliance on staff knowledge. So this is the next of the webinars that we're putting on to help you get more out of StoreFeeder and showcase some features that you might not have known about, or maybe some ideas that might help you with running your business. I'm Jack. Some of you might know me already. I'm a StoreFeeder product knowledge expert. I've been at StoreFeeder for over 12 years, I think now. And I started off working in support, became the onboarding manager, and now I've moved into more of the marketing side of the business. Today, we'll look at how you can get through peak periods easier than ever before via sharing staff knowledge. So, if you look at the agenda for the webinar, obviously we'll have an introduction. We'll look at the problem, which is hidden knowledge within the business, the solution for it. So that will be visibility control, the 5-minute rule, scaling with flexibility, any StoreFeeder features that will help, a little case study, go over some best practices, and then any questions at the end. So if you think of anything that you want to ask during the webinar, just throw it in the chat, and then I can have a look at that at the end of the session. So jumping in. Welcome to today's session. Hopefully it's something that will be useful for you. The challenge that we're looking at is hidden staff knowledge in your operation. So it's having information within your warehouse specifically that is tied to certain people or isn't available to everyone, and how we can look at bringing visibility, control, and flexibility with StoreFeeder through that. The key takeaways you'll hopefully get the 5-minute rule, scalable workflows, and a smarter operation. Right, so the problem, hidden knowledge. It's a common issue that we've seen with new StoreFeeder customers and some existing ones as they've grown in size, where you'll have an individual in the warehouse who, or certain members of staff, have all of the knowledge of how the warehouse works. So where the stock is, the warehouse layout, what pick bins are located. So the problem with that is you've got a single point of failure. If that person isn't in for some reason, or they've just got they're getting asked so many questions all the time, they're not able to do their job. It's not it's an inefficient way of working. It's not a good way to run your warehouse. So it's harder to scale up because of that. So the solution is to introduce visibility and control to the warehouse. So the first one, some of these might sound obvious, but transparent inventory, making sure that everyone has access to accurate stock data and ending the reliance on individuals. So this is information that all pickers should have access to, really, and be able to easily go into the warehouse, find an item, know what pick bin it's in, select the correct product without having to ask anyone else, and being able to get on and do it. Scalable efficiency, so easy onboarding of new staff into the warehouse and new pickers, and intuitive workflows let you add staff quickly during peak periods. So you'll be able to get staff into the warehouse, whether it's agency staff or just a new hire, get them into the warehouse, picking, up and running, and using the 5-minute rule, which we'll touch on shortly. Also, full visibility, it'll mean you can see everything. You'll know what products are running out of stock, what's selling well, whether you've got your warehouse laid out correctly. That's something we'll look at a little later too. And just making sure that you can see what's going on within your operation, and you're doing things to make it as easy as possible for everyone and to improve it. So operational resilience as well. So the business can keep running without key members being missing. So they might be ill, it might be busy. It's meaning that everyone can get on, and you're empowering your pickers and giving them the tools to do their job at any point. And finally, future-proof growth. So streamlined processes make it easy to scale as demand increases. So it might be that as your business grows, you're needing to expand your warehouse size, or you're needing to employ more people. So you've got the tools and the information to get them involved in the business, basically. So let's look at the 5-minute rule. In a nutshell, this rule Following this allows you to get staff up and running within 5 minutes. So like I can mention, they could be new full-time pickers or just agency staff required for peak periods. It allows you to have like fast onboarding. So it's 5 minute rule. You should be able to have someone go into the warehouse, be shown how to use the StoreFeeder WMS app, for example, and then up, running, and picking, packing, and dispatching orders within 5 minutes. Location-led picking is part of this as well. So there's no need for detailed product knowledge. They should be able to be given the information straight away, go into a logical, sensible warehouse and find everything they need, find the products they need, know where they're going, and get up and running. So barcode validation, that again, part of it, it ensures accuracy and reduces errors. We'll briefly mention it again later, but it just means you can't make a mistake. If it's the wrong product, it's the wrong product. It's not going to allow you to move forward, and you'll have to go and get the correct one. And then scalable efficiency, so it's easy to add staff during busy periods. So you can have extra staff in the warehouse as you need them. It might be, like we mentioned, agency staff earlier during peak. You might need to bring some people in. You haven't got to spend a morning training them up, or you haven't got to have someone who, someone who has all the knowledge of the warehouse, spending all their time showing people how to get up and running. You should just be able to get them into the business, give them the tools they need, and all the information is available to them, and they can go off and start getting products. So scaling with flexibility. Again, rapid onboarding. So the 5 minute rule gets new temporary staff productive almost instantly. Adaptable workflows. Intuitive on-screen guidance makes scaling up during peak periods seamless. So it's not just on the app. It might be like a sensible warehouse layout. If you've got smaller items towards the front of the warehouse, larger items towards the back, high footfall items at the front, close to the packing bench, things like that. Just making sure that the way you've set your warehouse up is scalable with your workflow and sort of complementary to it in a way. Resource efficiency. So sort of mentioned this on the previous slide, reducing training time and deploying staff when they needed most. You haven't got to have people training staff all the time. You haven't got to have someone holding a new picker's hand around as they go through the warehouse, and you're empowering everyone really within the business to be able to just get on and have the tools they need and do their job. And finally, future ready growth. So sort of with the features within StoreFeeder, it can grow with your business, support expansion, but not in a way that makes it even more complicated than it already has to be. You can still keep it relatively simple, but just have the freedom and the ability to grow with it. Right. So let's look at some features which help with this. So the first one is requisitions. We've had a few customers in the past where there'll be one person who really knows what to order and when to order it. And with requisitions, you can automatically suggest it will automatically suggest purchase orders based on sales history, back orders, or products below reorder level. So it's telling you what to bring in from a certain supplier at the time you need it. So it might be that you work just in time, so you can bring in things that you're like on demand as it's required, or it might be that it's here we go. So per supplier, purchase order mode allows you to control how suggestions are generated. So like say on demand, just as you need it. Below reorder level, you set a reorder level against your products, and this suggests quantity and an item to get from a supplier. And then finally, you've got sold in last 10 days or X days. So it might be that it's a particularly fast moving item at that point, like Christmas trees at Christmas, for example, and you want to make sure you've got the stock in to fulfill any orders you think will be coming through. And this just means that you haven't got to have, or it's not the responsibility of an individual to know what's in a pick bin all the time, and just happen to notice that we're running out of this, or this is looking a little low. This will help you and make sure that you're, you've got the stock coming in that you can sell when you need to. So there's a toggle that's includes specific suppliers in requisition. So it might be a case that you're not wanting to create automatic purchase orders with particular suppliers. It might be done for certain ones, perhaps it's ones that are more reliable. It gives you that flexibility, and it's easy to review and check what is being what you wanted to order. It doesn't just go, we fire out a purchase order to the supplier, and then something you don't really want turns up a couple of days later. It's all based on what you want. You have to confirm it, and you then convert the selected requisitions to the draft purchase orders directly, like it says. It's just not. It's automatic enough to be useful, but not dangerous. So the next one we've got is a new feature in StoreFeeder. So it's aisles and levels, and this should be available to everyone. So what this does is let you break down your warehouse into further sections than you already can. Before this, it was just warehouse lane, and pick bin. But now you can add aisles to that. So you've got individual aisle locations and levels. So you might have, for example, say there's like larger items are kept up on higher shelves. You can tag those pick bins where they are in the warehouse vertically, and StoreFeeder will be able to go, okay, I know that perhaps this needs to be picked in a certain way, or it needs to be put in a pick wave of particular orders. Because like we're saying here, you can specify which levels a picker should pull from. And obviously with multiple stock locations, you can have products in more than one place. So you can sort of set within your pick waves how you want people to go and where they want them to visit based on the aisles and levels. So some benefits here: it's better for safety, more efficient workflows, fewer equipment changes. It might be that certain things need to be picked by trained staff, trained in a particular way of doing it. So you can make sure that's allocated to the correct staff. And if you've got temporary staff, for example, you can make sure that they're not being assigned orders that have these items in the pick wave, and you can control it a bit more. The next feature is super simple one, but I really quite like this one. It's just pick wave. You can create pick wave filters on the picking page, and this means that you haven't got to have a warehouse manager or someone in the warehouse who is sitting there thinking, oh, okay, what are these orders? I've got to allocate these to this picker because they won't be able to do that. Or I've got to find all these orders that have got these items in because it will need to go for this person. You can just set up the filters, and there's some pre-made ones already that we've got in the screenshot here that you can just select. It will filter out all the orders for that, create the pick wave, it goes to the app, picker can get the app, get the pick wave on the app, and off they go. And then, so like in the example, one picker might be processing large items and others processing priority orders. So I'm sure the majority of you probably do use this feature, but it's good to sort of bring it up again and just say it's something you can use within this for efficiency. It's basically processing orders, another tool to help you process orders in the most efficient and practical way. Oh, cool. So actually, I think this is probably my favorite feature in this thing. This is I'm sure most of you have seen it, but as part of V3, we've got a lot of new reporting in the system. So there's insights and then visualize, which allow you to have a lot more detailed reporting within the system than was available beforehand, and see it in a graphical format to help you sort of use the data to improve your business essentially. So if we look at this one, which is a particularly cool one, I think, you can monitor the most visited most visited stock locations within your warehouse. So because in StoreFeeder you'll have what stock is where, what location order you've got set, and then how many times these orders are being picked. We're able to provide you with information that will tell you if your warehouse is efficient, essentially. So if I just move on to the next one, it's zoomed in slightly, you can check what your high traffic stock locations are. And the way most warehouses will work, not all of them, is you'll have you'll have the location order starting at the front, so closest to the packing bench, and then running further away to your bulk locations and any sort of goods in and things like that. And you ideally want to see the higher peaks at the front, because that means that the pick bins that you're going to the most are the ones that are closest to where the product's got to go to be processed. So you're reducing footfall. You don't want to have an item that you're selling 200 of a day and it's at the back of the warehouse where they're having to walk for a minute to get it and then a minute to walk back. It's going to cost you a lot of time doing it that way. Whereas if you've got it in a location closer towards where it's got to go and it's only a 10-second walk, it's immeasurably quicker. So yeah, you want to adjust your warehouse layout to meet the product demand. It might be that you've got an efficient warehouse already, but you can use this report and this graph to just keep on top of it and review it and make sure it's all right. Or you might be thinking that I don't know, like it's not that an efficient warehouse, and this will help you make a good start into working out if you've got a good route for your orders. And that's a default report in the system, so everyone have access to that. It's just in within V3 and then Insights and then Visualize. So let's have a little look at a case study. So we had a new customer come through with the implementation team recently. They're a small to medium sized warehouse, and they'd been using a WMS software prior to StoreFeeder. So they had some warehouse organization, but it wasn't great, and a lot of the knowledge sat with a couple of people in the business. So every time they were going away to pick, or they needed to know information about a product or information about where it was, they had to find one of these two people and ask them basically about this item to get the information that they needed. So, and because of that, they were experiencing long pick times around peak. They sort of came to us springtime this year, because they'd had such a busy and I guess stressful Christmas period that they needed to sort their warehouse out and see how StoreFeeder could sort of assist them with it. So what the implementation team did was used a lot of the ideas that we've discussed in the webinar to sort of help them quickly improve their operation. So they were able to, as they were onboarding, improve it. The warehouse was remapped in a more efficient way, and they had created and labeled stock locations. So they didn't have the data in StoreFeeder to be able to use the insights graph that we looked at, but we were able to get enough information from them and look at their warehouse layout and go, yeah, this needs to be like this. And it became a lot easier for them, well, not almost instantly, but very, very quickly. They made sure that everything was entered in StoreFeeder. And this is like maybe a bit of an obvious one again, but having all your locations, all your products in correct stock locations, not just having, not just going, oh, the products are in this bin and then I'll just create a pick wave and process it. I know where they are. It's so much better and honestly correct to have your stock locations, your products associated to the correct stock locations, and having that with a good order in a sensible layout helped them massively. They started using the barcode dead picking because they did have barcoded products, I think. Started using the app, and again, they were able to get up and running with it really, really quickly. I think most of the pickers were shown how to use it, and then we're getting ready for like the soft go live pretty fast, which was cool to see. And I think after they'd gone live, it sort of reduced their average pick time by around half. And I'm kind of interested to see what it would be like for them again coming up to Black Friday and Christmas this year. That it should be a lot easier for them and a lot more I would say stress-free. Why not? So best practices: don't allow single members of staff to have all the warehouse knowledge. It might seem maybe a bit mean to say it, but you can't have one person that knows all of it. The knowledge needs to be shared. The knowledge needs to be available to everybody, and it needs to be accessible to you. So having it in StoreFeed, for example, is as much as possible is a really good thing to have. It just means that then the staff member who knows everything isn't going to be. It's not about making them not as valuable. It's more giving them time to do what they've got to do instead of having to worry about things that can be easily viewed by anyone. Barcode everything. I think I say this every webinar, but make sure everything's got a barcode. It's the best. Clearly labeled pick bins, logged accurately in StoreFeeder. Again, having your stock locations labeled and the stock locations in StoreFeeder it knows where they are and it knows what the order is. Makes it so much easier. You basically will get guided efficiently around the warehouse, and anyone doesn't have to know the warehouse layout. They'll just be told, go here, 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 here. It's worked out the most efficient way for them, and no drama. Review your pick bin footfall regularly. Again, looking at that insights graph, that's sort of what I touched on. It's so important to every so often review it and just make sure that an item's not become popular and you've got it at the back of the warehouse. If you have, do a little stock transfer, move it to a different pick bin, and it's a super easy way of saving time. Oh, and keep your warehouse and package benches tidy. It again, super, like, might sound obvious, but it's a really good thing to do. I think the most efficient warehouses I've ever been to have been immaculate, almost like spotless. Cool. So Q&A time. Has anyone got any questions or anything? Let's see if there's been a Q&A added. Oh yeah. There'll be a video of the webinar up in the next few weeks. So we'll put a message out on social media probably, and probably through StoreFeeder too, just to let you know it's available, so you'll be able to watch the whole thing again and have access to the slides. Any no questions? I take that as a positive that hopefully all made sense. So that's great. So last slide. Thank you for attending. I hope it's been useful for you. If you've got any questions you think of afterwards, get in touch with the support team and they'll be able to help you. There will be another webinar next month. I'm not sure what the topic is yet, but we will be sending out some we were sending out notification for it and let you know when it is. So hopefully you'll be able to attend that one. And thank you for your time. And I'm sure I'll speak to some of you at some point in the future. Thank you.